Welcome, everybody. Lovely to see you all. If you're all on replay, welcome to the Pure Energy Healing Academy, where we've spent decades of amazing one-to-one healing on individuals, believers, non-believers, who have laid down for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and got up and walked away. And some claim that their life completely changed. Some people claimed that they'd never felt inner peace in their life before. It was the first time they've ever felt like that. Many people claim that addictions that was the point where the addiction disappeared and they made a conscious decision to clear the addiction, not being the healer cleaning the addiction. Never is. So I want to get that straight with you all before we start this deep conversation. Only true healing can happen and occur in the person receiving the healing, in the sense that they make the conscious decision to heal. All this is relevant to where I'm going to the conversation today, which is all about angels, Jesus, and God. So first of all, I want to welcome you all here, and don't get angry with me. Just hear me out. If you get angry with me, it means that you're booked in. You're doing something psychological, and what that means is, I'll give you a great example. There was a test done many years ago, and I heard about it through a friend, and they said that basically ended up with that anybody who goes on to TV or anybody who speaks, they've normally got 30 seconds before the person who's watching them makes up their mind whether they like them or not. That is a standard thing that happens on TV, and it's a form of the way humanity reacts and behaves. We're looking for whether we like this person or we don't. So normally in 30 seconds, we'll make that decision. To undo that decision, normally on the side of hating somebody, is very, very difficult to change. It's easier to change loving somebody to hating them. So we err on the side of hate rather than love, and it's so easy to bring hate into our energy. Well, when you realize that we've got hate everywhere, and we realize that when we're in companies or crowds, then hate can be very infectious. So bear that in mind, which is relevant to this conversation too. So that being said, I'd like to start off and say to you, when I was a child, I was abused by a priest, and there was nobody more shocked than I was, because my mum and my dad told me that this is where love is, this is where God is, this is where Jesus is, this is where all good is. Okay, all good. Good comes from a word, interestingly enough, is narrowed down to God, and God actually is the reverse of dog. And when you realize the reverse of dog has a lot to do with being in the energy of faith in dogs, believing in dogs, having faith in dogs, or basically seeing dogs as God. And if you look back in history of the ancient Egypt, you'll see many of their modeling of a dog face. So that comes from that, apparently. I don't know. I didn't live then. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I like to listen to, words. I like to understand words and figure out what does, the Son of God means. Well, studying the Son of God, the sun being the sun itself, what shines from the sky, we call the lazy U or the lazy O. So it looks like a U, but it was originally an O. So the sun is actually the sun, or vice versa, whatever. So there's all connections to the Son of God. But the interesting thing to me is that when I was in the Son of God or Jesus's temple, I was abused. So it's very, very difficult for me to believe wholeheartedly that there is a protection in what's called a divine temple, which, so you all know, the divine temple is not a brick building or a wood building. It's your body. That is the temple. That is where this comes from. The temple is within you. You are the temple. and you have to keep the temple clean. So when I was a kid, I went through a lot of different abuses, as many kids at my age now, were in our 50s, went through, which is that we had to walk down an aisle or walk through the pews thinking of something to tell the priest so he wouldn't get angry. So as you walk down, you're told that you're going to go into a wooden box and repent your sins because you are a sinner. And the panic in me, because as a kid, I didn't hurt people. I was hurt a lot. I was hurt from the word go. I was smashed over the head with a hammer. It never stopped from there with kids. So I was always picked on, always abused. Well, when you're picked on as a kid and you've got bullies everywhere, you don't tend to bully anybody else because you're in a world of fear all the time. So you're going into a wooden box where a priest and a teacher reconfirms that you are a sinner. A sinner has to repent. So you might understand this. You're panicking because you're lying, you're making up lies to sit in a box and come up with things that will make the priest say, yes, you're a sinner. And just so you know, the reason why priests did this was a very dirty, devious, sneaky thing, because back in the days when there were no gods per se, there were no kings per se, there were only religion or religious popes and priests and so on. All these bishops were in control of everything, and to be in control of everything, they needed to know everything. So what could be more beautiful than creating a wooden box, getting everybody to go in there so that the priest would then listen to everybody's sins and then go back to their cardinals, their popes, their bishops, and tell them everything that they needed to know that they had on people then. So that's my understanding, and I completely resonate with that. That box is evil. When you walk in that box, you're sharing information with somebody that should not know your information, because knowing I'm sharing information from the priest that abused me, that in itself tells you everything. So I remember one day when I had the courage inside me, because I did have courage, even though I was bullied, to say to the priest, I haven't done anything wrong. And at that point, I was beaten. I was taken out and I was beaten. I remember the stick that was birch that was beating me and told me that I was a sinner and you're a liar. So when you come to me with your belief system of God and Jesus and angels, I have a different take on it because of what I've been through as a child. So if anybody would be a non-believer of Jesus, angels, and God, it would be me. One, because I was abused, and then to make things even worse, as I got a little bit older and turned just about 12 years old, my mum got cancer in her stomach and I had to watch her die. And she was 45 years old and I was 12. Leaving an abusive father and the most kindest woman that I've ever met in this world. I've never met anybody as kind as my mum. I'm not just saying that. I would say if she wanted a nice mum. She was the kindest woman I ever met. No matter what people did to her and said to her, she'd still smile and be loving. So that said, do you really think I'm going to believe in God, in a God or a Jesus or angels at that age, at 12 years old? You can probably say, well, yeah, I can see why you didn't. You know, being abused by a priest. Yeah, I can see why I don't believe in the church and Catholics and so on. And I can see why I don't believe in God. Why would anybody take such a beautiful woman away? As you get older, you hear the stories of, you know, God always takes the good people away first and always leaves the evil people to live long. All right. Okay. Right. So God takes them away when they're beautiful. So we punish everybody else for taking somebody beautiful away and leave all the bad people here so that we get raped, abused, and punished by them. Yeah. So it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out none of this makes sense, does it? Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense to me unless you then go into the programming. So the programming then is religion, faith, and also spirituality. So spirituality will always come up with ways to make you feel better. Spirituality is a lovely thing because it makes you feel better. I come from a place where it isn't spirituality. It is hands-on, is experience and knowing what's happened to my clients and to those who are moving into the light at that time. So I come to you with experience of what I've seen with my own eyes through my clients. Let me give you something that is so powerful that might make you think a little bit and might make you realize something that is, it really is truly, truly powerful. Somebody came here once and says, why have you got a set of rosary beads? I said, because they were my mum's, and there was two things that I took from my mum. One was a gold necklace and a pendant, and the other one was this. And there was a time where me and my family had no money at all, and my children, we had no money, totally broke, and it ripped my heart. But I had nothing to sell, and I needed some money, and I couldn't work. Nobody would give me work. It was just a bad time, and it was a bad time for all of us. So my mum's gold chain was the only thing I had. So I sold the gold chain. To this day, it breaks my heart, and I looked for the gold chain ever since, but I can't find it. But I've got this of my mum's. So why do I hold this? Because is it because I'm religious? No, I'm not religious. Well, why have you got it then? Because I don't disbelieve. And whatever you believe in, I just kind of take my hat off and say, wow, that's amazing, because you have a faith. And faith is something that you can't give to somebody. You can't make somebody have faith. It's either you've got it or you don't. And the faith that you have is what you believe in. So it's a belief system. It's faith, because you can't see it. You can't touch it. You haven't met Jesus personally. You haven't met your archangels personally. You haven't, been awake, stood here and chatted with them for half an hour, and they've given you relevant information that you can, come and you didn't take photos with an archangel or with God or with Jesus. So everything that you talk about and you stand for is a faith. It's a belief system. So you fight, you'll kill, you'll hate, you'll run away, you'll cry, you'll do anything for your faith. But it's just a faith. It's only a belief system. Over the years, I've seen people's belief systems change. I've seen people, non-believers, turn into believers, and I've seen believers turn into non-believers. That's fascinating. So it tells you that you're up for it's all up for grabs. So one of the things, I'll come back to this in a second, but one of the things that I found fascinating was every time I used to sit in front of a client giving psychic readings with these cards, and all of a sudden my ear pop, and I'm like, what's that popping in my ear? And all of a sudden I get this overwhelming feeling, and I get pictures, little pictures just pop up. If I close my eyes, even if I don't close my eyes, I'll get a picture pop up. I can give you 1,000 examples, but I just give you one example. So I'm in front of a beautiful lady. She's about 50 years old, something like that. I like to use this because it's so good. She was a school teacher, and she didn't speak to me at all. She came to a retreat and she didn't speak to me at all. She didn't even know why I was there, really. And she came for the food, for Bettina's food. And I like to use this because it's so good. As soon as she sat down, all of a sudden I felt a beautiful baby girl come forward. I could see her. I could see everything about her, what she looked like, right? And she showed me a stage of birth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right the way up to the time that the child or the daughter would be the age if she was still in this world. So I started reading for this teacher. And she says, what are you doing? I says, I'm somebody who just tries to look into the cards and see things that might help you along your journey. Maybe help you with your future and maybe heal some of your past. oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm here for. I says, oh, you can go, no problem. I'm not keeping you here. You can go. Honestly, it gives me an hour break for my next client who's in. She says, oh, just continue. So it was so funny. It wasn't her. It was her brain. She was so like stuck, but the consciousness was not letting her go. So inside I'm giggling. So I begin, and as I'm talking to her, I'm saying, oh, there's somebody in the room. And then I close my eyes. I says, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And she says, what are you talking about? And I described her. And I told her the age, exactly the age. And I said, I can see July. As she's showing me July, and she's showing me what she looks like. And I told her the color of her eyes, the color of her hair, everything about her. And she said she loves you and she's always been with you. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. You need to stop this. And I'm like, oh, okay, do you want me to stop? I said, I can stop, no problem. She says, well, continue, but don't. Why are you saying that for? You just got to stop that. You've just got to stop that. And I'm saying, well, I'm reading for you. It's difficult to just stop and tell you that, this beautiful girl, says everything's fine and she loves you and she's always been there. And then she just said it. She just said, how do you know this? And that was it. She'd never told anybody in her life that she lost a child, that she didn't want to tell anybody. And she confirmed at the end that the girl was exactly the age of what I said. And the color of eyes, and I guess would be, she wouldn't know so much because baby's eyes are blue, and I don't know whether it was that she had the baby or she didn't, so I wasn't sure about that. All I got was the baby coming through and the baby growing up to a certain age. Anyway, when I finished, I gave her as I'm talking, and she allowed me to carry on. When she released the suffering had gone at that moment because she'd held it in for so many years. So that how do you know this? Like that was all the suffering coming out and release. So I gave her a healing after that. So the point I'm making about Jesus and God, and the reason why I read for this woman and gave her this message was, if you're in the spirit world and you've died, okay, to get a message to you, there's only certain things that we can share with you for you to get the message. That would be, there's something in a wardrobe, at the top of the wardrobe, and it's in a box, and it looks like something that's been missing for ages. It looks like this happened to me a lot of times. Pocket watch. It's a pocket watch of your husband's. And he said it's fallen down the back of the side of the wardrobe and it's stuck, or the drawer and it's stuck. Or it could be a secret safe, which I used to do a lot of the times. There's a safe in the room, and it's not a safe that you would ever know. And I'd explain where it was. It's behind here, or it's underneath there. And it's like, and they'd say, oh my God, when they got home, they confirmed it. It's like, yeah. So the spirit world explains that way. Sometimes the spirit world will show you through images, and the image would be what they look like. Also, they'll explain to you as well by way of, because it's the only way they can explain to you, I was a pain in the ass, and I couldn't stand my brother's my brother, or I couldn't stand my sister, or I hated my dad, or I hated my mother-in-law. So they come through, and the misguided concept of when you've read for somebody, this is why I'm hated in the spiritual community, by the way. I'm hated in the spiritual community. But I came from a place of not believing what the spiritual people said. I wanted to learn it myself. And I came to the conclusion that when spirit explains things, when you're trying to relay something, is only the way that they could, so you would know who they were. But that doesn't mean that they're the same person when they're in the spirit world. And I actually don't feel the suffering and pain and anger. They're just sharing something with me. But it feels love. When they're around me, it feels like love. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful energy. All I'm sharing with you is, oh yeah, he bloody hated so and so. It was a real nasty piece of work. You know, I got that as well. And like, well, he isn't now. So whatever he went through, whatever he'd been through, it doesn't feel like that now. It doesn't feel like he's got. I never once read for anybody that had. Never once allowed spirit to speak through me and say anything nasty. Never got that. The only thing I ever got is I was nasty or I did do this, but never I've come through Mark and I want to say that I want to tell you that you're this and you're that. That is normally trapped spirit who's not gone to the other side. That could be, I don't know. I was lucky enough not to deal with and not to have that because I used to cleanse my room really well. And, you know, I learned from many a good shaman how to cleanse the room properly and how to only work with light. So, you know, are there devious entities out there? Yeah, they are. But if you know how to cleanse and clear a room, anyway, diverting, get back to this. My point being is that when I'm sat with, like, either, you know, whoever it was, Penelope or any of the beautiful ladies that I sat with and men who were moving into the light, Brian and so on, the moment of leaving the world, there was a reassuring feeling when you give healing. Reassuring feeling when you give healing, and that reassuring feeling is incredible. It's like you can't really explain it because there is no fear. Now they're ready to move forward because of the healing and because they're ready. And if I'd have experienced them saying God is here and he looks like this, or Jesus is here and he looks like this, or my archangel Michael is here, I would say to you, well, I don't know, but they really saw Archangel Michael and they were there. What I can say is that on moving into the light, what I heard from my experience was a confidence and a feeling that cannot be explained. It's a relief knowing that everything's going to be fine. And the fact that our family in spirit, whether it's grandma, granddad, brother, sister, children, whoever's in the spirit world, come forward. So they recognize, again, it's the same principle as giving a reading. So I'm sharing who they're now understanding it is. Brian, who's ready to move into the light, sees his sister because spirit world shows themselves who they want to see to feel that comfort. So the spirit world, our family, you, me, where we come from, we are one, where we are part of the energy of source. So there is no hierarchy or lowerarchy. On a side note, angels, when you study them and understand them, go back centuries to what many believe are aliens that came down on wings being the only way you can actually write it down or draw it. How else can you draw flying if you didn't know what flying was? The only thing that you can relate to flying is a bird. So if you're going to share it with people and don't really understand, you put wings on a being that comes down. Because why have they got wings on? Because they can fly. So it's alien beings who could fly and come down, but they didn't have wings. So when you talk to me about angels with wings, I've never seen an angel with wings. Every time I go into the psychic world and I try and attune to spirit world, they never show me wings are only something that you've regurgitated and believed, and then you put it into your head and you manifest that by your belief system. But if you have no belief system and you just get on with it, you know, it happened to me once. I was told about archangels and I thought, oh, that's really nice, it's beautiful. And what a wonderful thing, what a joyful thing to talk about higher, that they're bigger and more powerful than anybody. These are like, you don't mess with these, my archangel's bigger than yours. And it's like, okay, all right. So, okay. So when I went to do a healing on a beautiful woman called Astrid in Germany, as I was giving her a healing session, I kept looking at the wall and looking down, looking at the wall. And as I'm looking at the wall, I'm seeing this angel. In fact, I've got it up there and it's got wings, but I wasn't looking at the wings. I wasn't looking at the halo. I wasn't looking at the staff that the angel. I was just looking at the overall picture of the face. I'm like, wonder why I'm doing that. And it's funny because I never mentioned anything to Astrid, who's unfortunately moved into the light. She moved into the light a couple of weeks after me giving healing to her, but they said she was going to die well before that because somebody fed her rat poison because they wanted her property in the Costa, I don't know where it was, Costa Blanca. So the next door neighbor, who was a property developer, poisoned her when they went to eat together to try, and he tried to buy the property, the land, and he wanted to convert it into more. Anyway, it's a long story, but she didn't want to die before she got everything resolved, and a partner, Stefan, and everything that needed to be resolved. So she called me and I said, I don't do miracles, but I promised to do my best. And that's what I did every day. I gave her healing 3 times a day. And I kept looking up at this picture. And anyway, the day that I left was the day, funnily enough, that Stefan walked through the door and said, oh, everything's been done. Everything's been legalized. All the solicitors sorted it all. It's a miracle. Everything's fine. So she was at peace. She broke down and she was at peace. And it was a beautiful moment for me to heal her because she was a very special lady. She'd met Dalai Lama and all of these people. She was a very high, in the world. She was very loved in the world of journalism because she used to study whoever she interviewed, and so she was in all the major papers in the world of interviewing them because she was an amazing interviewer. She'd spend 3 months, 2 to 3 months studying that person, everything about them. So when she came to interview them, the questions would be phenomenal. Anyway, point being, when I left, when I got home, she sent me a message. And when I got home, she said, the gift is for you. And I opened the gift and it was that up on the wall. You can't see it, but there it is up on the wall there. That's it there. So Archangel, I think it's Michael. I wouldn't know. I think it's Archangel Michael, but I'm not sure. But the point being that, oh, it's the angels, and it was an angel who was with me. No, it was just a recognition of intuition, our consciousness, and our gut feeling, what we feel that we want to do. And we can utilize angels. We can utilize Jesus as being the savior, and we can utilize God being everything and anything. But my take is purely experience, and I did not. I was created to go through the abuse of the church, and I was created to go to the Mormon church with my sister. I was created to lose my mum, to be able to be the person that I am, to share what I'm sharing with you today. Somebody's just said that they've got no sound. Am I just talking and nobody's listening? Oh, I haven't just been talking all this time, have I? I've just looked at the comment section. Can nobody hear me? Oh, thank God for that. I thought I'd done the same thing again. So you can hear me because somebody's just put a comment. Okay, maybe I. Anyway, so get back to it. I'm on a roll, so I want to try and get through this so that you understand that I don't have any hatred for the church. I don't have. And by the way, the word church, if you study the word church, it comes down to what's called a woman who used to bring people into a house and steal everything for them. Circes, I think. But anyway, study it. You'll realize church doesn't mean what you think it means. Okay. So everything that you believe in, when you study it, you realize it's not really what you thought you believed, but it's okay. As long as you believe in the love of God, as long as you believe in the love of the church as a place where it's a temple and you can send your love and healing, that's fine. I'm not telling you to give anything up. I'm just telling you to have an open mind and not be closed. Not be closed to this is it and that's all there is to it, but it isn't. So, Jesus. I think the one most powerful thing in the world as a marketing concept is the cross. It's a powerful marketing concept. It's the most powerful money industry in the world, i.e. the Vatican. The Vatican is worth more money than anything. It's the most powerful organization, and some would argue criminal company, criminal business in the whole world. I would tend to agree after studying and looking into it in detail. It really is the cesspit. So God, Jesus, church has been hijacked a long time ago, and what was is no longer. So I want to get back to this. So you know why I've got it? I've got it. This actually proves that I haven't got anything against the church. I haven't got anything against God or Jesus or the cross. Nothing at all. I've got it here because it was my mum's, and if my mum loved it, then I love my mum. And faith or religion or what isn't going to stop me from loving something else. So I have a different take than most people. So here's the most beautiful thing about the cross that I found. When working with a cross, it is simply a cross. It's two pieces of metal with what looks like a person there. That's what that is. However, if I believe in the cross and I believe that there's a higher power, a greater power in this world, I am going to be protected because I have the cross, or I'm wearing the cross. It's not like a crystal. A crystal has a frequency and vibration. This is a piece of metal, has a frequency of vibration, but not the same frequency of vibration as a crystal. But this piece of metal, which actually doesn't really look like metal, it looks like composite, a mishmash of different metals. So, and it looks like it's just been the thousand millions of them are made every year. So it's just that pieces of wood, nothing special. It's not wood that you would, say it's like Malabees, the mallow wood. So no, it's just wood, and it's coloured. It's being coloured. The chain itself, again, is a cheap metal. So, okay, so my point being is, I believe in the cross, and if you believe in the cross that much, and I stick that on your forehead and say you are healed, there are many hundreds, if not thousands of people who have miraculously healed from that, or from a bottle of holy water from Lourdes, or stepped into the water of Lourdes and healed miraculously cancers. These are all known fact. So you can go, oh, it was Mother Mary who healed me. Yeah, it could very well be Mother Mary have healed you. But to me, what I recognized is when you hold this cross and you believe in it, you have the power to heal things. You have the power to clear things away. And it's not the cross that's done it. It's the power that you believe in the cross. And that was a penny drop moment for me. It just blew my mind when I realized when somebody had a cross, and I was at this place, and I saw the power of healing take place. And I asked to look at the cross, and I felt the energy because I used to work with crystals, and I'm like, there's nothing here. There's no energy in this at all. There's no energy in the wood that I feel like that's a heal. I can feel it, and it's here. No, I didn't feel anything. And the conclusion that I came to was that the person believed in the cross so much, who was giving the healing to the other person. The other person believed in the healer that much that the combination of the two, The healer becomes the healer, and the person being healed becomes the healer. So we've created something that is supernova powerful. So I wanted to delve into that and understand it more and more. It was fascinating. So there is this, for me, understanding by the way of healing. As a healer, as I share with healers, that there's only two things you can do when you heal. You can either heal somebody or you don't do anything. And the reason why you don't do anything is because you're not a healer, and you're not doing healing properly. And most of the time is that because you don't believe in it, you don't believe in yourself, and you don't know maybe what you're doing, or you just don't have the confidence. And it's being open to it and believing in it that is the key, the doorway to allowing this energy to run through you, coupled with whether you're healthy or ill. Every time you're, again, stopping any kind of energy run through you. I saw it many times as a healer, as I'm watching my clients, like they're stopping their healing process. And I'd take them to one side and I said, "You're thinking too much." They go, I know. I just don't know why I'm doing it. What am I doing it? I'm like, just don't even worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't think. As soon as you don't think, you open up, and you become the vessel. As soon as you think, you stop it. And that's why they want you to think. That's why this generation to generation realize that they don't want thinkers, because they want you to think. They want you to think and think and think, and by that you're not able to download. You're not able to receive. So it could be messages, it could be healing energy, it could be many healing processes that come through, many beautiful signs that come through. But if you're thinking all the time, meaning that I'm worried about, because thinking doesn't mean think, it means worrying about what you're doing. And I've not got the ability, and I'm not good enough, or it's all going to go wrong. So it's a lot to do with us. And so, again, I'm moving off on things, but I guess what I'd like to say as well is that I never came across anybody who said that they saw God, or they saw angels, or they saw Jesus, if they've never heard of those people. So they'd all heard, they'd all studied, and all mentioned. So at circles, it was very obvious that people would just use their thoughts and create whatever they wanted to see. And in that creation, they see whatever feels right to them, and they'll share it with the world. What I found fascinating, and I'm not being disrespectful, I'm not, but I used to find it fascinating how circle nights would always bring the same conversations. Oh, I saw two angels. I saw the Buddha. I saw a white dove. And it was always like, well, all of that's in books. So when it came to me, and it was like, no, I was sat by this pond, and this woman walked out with kind of scruffy clothes, and she looked skinny, and she was about my age, and she had a smile on her face, and she's holding a white flower, and what looked like a white flower. And she kept saying Shanti. I never heard that word before, never heard of it. I didn't even know what Shanti is. I actually wrote it down when I'd finished the meditation. And I never said anything to anybody. Like, I didn't see anything. But then one day, I don't know whether 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, because I was embarrassed to say anything, because like I wasn't seeing all of what everybody else was seeing. So I was thinking there was something wrong with me. They were telling me that they were seeing these Buddhas and all of these rows of wild wolves and eagles, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, these people. I'm like, yeah, it was just weird. And I come to understand that now it's just a lot of ego and just the same thing that they're repeating, and because they're in a club and it makes them feel better, and they all want to say the same thing. Whereas I didn't go for that. I just truly wanted to go to find out what this was all about. So I didn't really bother with any more of them. I stopped going a long time ago, because I realized a lot of it was just ego and people just wanting to connect to people, to talk and to heal themselves and feel better, which is fine. But I was wanting to learn and understand more. But the point being, I remember sat in meditation, this record came on and it went like this. Om Shanti. And I jumped up and everybody like, what? And I said, who's Shanti? That's the woman. I'm saying that's the woman in my in my meditation. That's the woman. And they all started laughing at me. Like, no, Shanti means peace. And like, does it? Yeah. And then they asked me what I saw, and then I kind of felt embarrassed, and I kind of opened up and shared it. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't see a goddess. I didn't see a high priestess. I didn't see what you all saw. I just saw a scruffy Indian woman, looked like an Indian woman, with this, and she sat with me, and then they said, okay, that's your guide, right? My guide. So I used to sit in meditation and feel this woman come to me, and I'm not kidding. I swear on my life, I was married to Susie, and I'm not a betrayer. When I say forever, I mean it. I don't betray anybody. I love, and I'm strong that way. Even though I had many opportunities, not interested, I made a commitment. I said my vows. I believed the vows. I believed them wholeheartedly. Now, don't believe in them at all, but I believe in what I believe in. Vows mean nothing. It's what you feel. You can say whatever you want. I've seen all of you guys saying vows, and you're all splitting up all the time, and you're having affairs. So piss off with all that. It means nothing. But I know me. So I would rather say, well, I don't want to commit to anything because I'm not ready to commit. Or if I say, all right, I'm going to commit to you, I committed to you. And I did. Absolutely. 2 people committed, never let them down, never walked away. I was there. So I know my morals. So when people are like, I'm like, yeah, shut up. You've got no morals at all. I know you. You've been with plenty of different people and you don't give a shit, but you say it all on the internet. So go away. So point being is, for me, my truth, my understanding of everything comes from how I feel. So when I'm listening to all of these people in circles saying these things, I'm like, you're just saying it. You're just saying it because you've read it in an angel book. You're just saying these things. You're not really. I know when somebody really means something, when they're really saying it. But look, I honest to God mean this from the bottom of my heart. If I would have had one of my clients who were moving into the light said, I am with God. This is what he looks like. This is what he's talking about. Or I am with Jesus. Jesus looks exactly like this. Or I am with an archangel. Like, I never got that. So why should I have to believe in everybody telling me that? I don't. I do believe that the spirit world, our family, come forward and they represent through what they look like. And it's not just that, you feel them. Like, who do you feel? I feel like my grandma's here just before they're dying. Or even I have clients who died and came back and told me all the stories. The stories were, so beautiful. And my favorite story out of all of them was the guy who was a firefighter and died and saw his body as he came up, and they were trying to heal him. And as he came up, he felt his dad. He said he couldn't see his dad, but he knew his dad was there because he could just feel him. Right? We are one. When we move back home, we're one. So we can feel everybody. And everybody is the drops of water in that beautiful ocean. So yeah, it makes sense. I can feel him. And then all of a sudden he was so upset because he never went to the Bahamas, and it was his dream before he died. He was in the Bahamas. Makes total sense. You just need to think where you need to be. I understand that. It's like absent healing. It's like people have tried it. And some people have succeeded very well in astral travel when they're, my truth on astral travel. I don't know whether this is right or wrong, but my belief in astral travel is that you have to go so deep that you're asleep. And it's almost like you go from being awake. That's why a lot of people have to go into darkness. They have to go. I know this because I've read from many people who wrote books about it, who have done it. one lady, you can look on my website if her name's on there. She was going to write a book. She astral traveled nearly every night. She's called Simona Williams. She was an actress in Hollywood. And I had loads and loads and loads of people who were talking to me and sharing, and we were doing things together. And like, if you're in real darkness and you kind of like, if you're a healer, sometimes you nearly fall asleep, but you're not asleep. If you understand this, like, you'll be doing a healing session, you think, shit, I nearly fell asleep. Then there's something in that where you can be doing something, like you're trying to, go somewhere, and you can go so deep, and then you kind of fall asleep. It's at that moment that you can do these things. That's what I think. So there's a lot more to it than that. But point being, I've got a picture up on the wall. Okay, I want to show you. Right, right there. And what is that? That's meant to be the real Jesus. There you go. That's meant to be the real Jesus. Why is that meant to be the real Jesus? I thought the Jesus looks totally different from that. Well, there's a story about a young girl who was an artist, and one day she drew a picture, and the mum and dad asked her, you'll know it better than me, because I didn't read it. I was told this story many times, and it really resonated. And she drew it, and she said, no, this is what Jesus looks like. And why? Because he came to me in my sleep, and he showed me, like, and okay, then that picture, what was drawn, was seen by a little boy in a car, I think. And the little boy didn't know what the picture was or anything. And they were looking at the picture, and the little boy just said it out loud. Apparently, that's Jesus. And so it's been confirmed by children that that's Jesus. So do I believe in Jesus? I believe in Jesus as much as I would say that I believe in your mum. And if I was sit with you now and I close my eyes and I could feel your mum, and she shows me what she looks like, that's your mum. But is that your mum? That's just where they're telling me who's talking to you. So your mum's saying, look, I'm trying to confirm to my daughter so she knows it's me who's here. So I'll say, oh, your mum's got this bag, and inside the bag, she always carries a photo of so-and-so. She's got this inside her bag, and she always has, like, I don't know, it almost looks like a feather, and like the woman's crying, like, that's my mum. That's my mum's bag. And it looks like it's a red one with a gold twist top. Oh, my God. I remember that bag. Okay, so now it's your mum. How else are you going to tell somebody that your mum's here unless they show you who they are? So they show me by way of looks, or what they're holding, or what they were like as a human being, their characteristics. So do I believe in Jesus? I totally believe in people who've come into this world who are beautiful. Do I put Jesus on a pedestal? No, I don't. Because you are the healer. You are the power. You know what this means? This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is just a cross, but because I believe in it, I become the best healer. And it becomes so powerful that you think that the cross has killed or burnt away evil spirits. No, it's you who's burnt away evil spirits. It's just that the church realizes that they know the power is within you, but they don't want you to know that you have the power to make darkness disappear, to take away evil spirits. They don't want you to talk to spirit world, because they don't want you to know what I know, because it's dangerous, because then the church is meaningless, because you are the church in the sense that you are the power, you are the God. And I don't mean God with the kids now running around thinking they're super amazing and they're the best things in the world and they don't need to belief system. It's not about this new age, that they've got it all wrong. I'm talking when I talked about be your power, believe in yourself, it's about respect and love and understanding of that we are a temple and we should look after our bodies, not being bitches and not being they, them, are, and me, and I am better than that. And, to a degree, I understand why religion is there for that reason, because it stops people going crazy in their head, thinking that that ego takes over and that they are a god. And I never like the idea of people calling themselves God and goddesses. I call myself pure love, just like you are, and we're all equal to the energy of healing, to the energy of God, to the energy of source, to the energy of angelic, to the energy of the Jesus healers. They're all simply ideas. They're all simply codes. They're all simply whatever, but we all come from that. The good people that I talk about, the ones who are loving, kind, and caring, we come from that source energy. We are all one. There is no higher or lower. There is no archangel and lower angel. We're just going through an experience. But when we move home, we are the consciousness that we are. No higher and lower, but we bring forward experiences into the consciousness that helps us understand and grow and see things in ways that we could never see things without coming to this place of sometimes hell and sheer tragedy and pain and suffering, to experience it and understand how to overcome it, which makes the consciousness even stronger and more of a pure energy that understands things. I don't think we come here for any other reason that as a collective, we bring back things that make the home stronger, understandings that make the stronger home that we come from, in a energetic and beautiful way. Do I believe in darkness? Yeah. Do I believe we're attacked? Yes, I do. I think this world is open to all things, and it's an experience that only we can navigate through that by connecting to the consciousness that I believe. What you believe is God or Jesus or angels. The connecting to that energy is the most important thing in the world, because it's the navigation. And connecting to that is connecting to yourself, because it's a one-way, two-way, three-way, 10-way, a million-way conversation to that drops of oceans into consciousness that we connect to. So we're receiving information, but if the church, if darkness can hijack you, then you will lose that connection. And that's what they're doing. That's what they've done to 95% of the population. That connection between consciousness and the temple has been severed really badly, whether it's been through a gentle manipulation of drip feed poisons, whether it's religion that stops you from believing in anything and you cannot connect to God. Only the Pope can do that. I could give you 1,000 reasons why the church stops us from being our ultimate power. Anything that you do to try to connect, they call evil. So it's been hijacked and corrupted. So one thing I did notice, and I've got to say, every time I met somebody similar to me who came for a reading and said, what is true faith? Why are we here? What's our purpose? I never said to him, it's God, it's angels, it's Jesus. I used to say, only you can find that out. And through your journey is exactly why you will find out, or you won't. So the point being is, nobody's going to give you a tablet to tell you what it is. Nobody's going to give you a download of information out of a book that's going to make you understand and believe everything. You have to experience life to understand how close you are to the God consciousness, to Mother Earth, to everybody in this world, and to understand that there's good and bad and dark and light and so on. But it's through experience. Ayahuasca doesn't give you that. It just gives you a taste of things that you've not seen before. So now you might have a little bit more understanding of why I don't talk about God. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about many things. I just talk about things that I know. I do talk about love and kindness, and sometimes I will mention angels because it's relevant to, my moment of what I saw at that time. But when I talk about angelic beings, You're an angelic being. We're all angelic beings. Whether we're in this world or not, we're angelic inside the consciousness. It's just that this spacesuit limits us to how angelic we can be, how we can expand and be that beautiful energy that we're meant to be in this world, that consciousness, that connection to everything, that psychicness, that healingness that we all hold. It's been injected out of us. It's been force fed out of us with crap and poisons, and it's been brainwashed us to not be able to go any further than that. So my limited belief of consciousness is a world that I see as a very, very still sea, which is the color of no colors that can be explained, but multiple colors. It is so calm that if you dropped a little pebble in it, you could see it spread. The sand is of color of multicolors of the sand, but you can see the difference between one and the other. The sand sparkles like something that you've never seen, and each sparkle has a color and a feeling to it. The water itself is so healing that it's a purification of everything. When I attune to meditation and I astral travel and I go and see my mum, there are places that I go to that I can say that's my home world. And it's not a world of touch. It's a world that is shown to me. Is it a real world? That was the question that I've often asked. I believe that there are worlds like that, and they're showing us that. But our world is a world that is beyond our eyes, and it's a realm that is all around us, and it's pure love. That's its energy. Why is it that I have to, and why is it that you have to believe in a God? Why is it that you have to, share your sins and to a priest? This is just man-made nonsense. I know if I've done wrong or right, and I know I will be judged by my own actions when I leave this world, because I've seen it with my clients who have said everything is shown to them just before they die, and I've seen it. I've seen that through my clients. It's like 1,000 million images of everything that you've done, and at that point you will judge yourself. And that judgment, who better could judge yourself than you? Nobody else could judge you more than what you've been through. So I judge what I've been through, and now I know what I need to learn, and if I need to come back again, or whatever it is I go to, whatever plane I go to next, if I go to another plane, whatever other experience that my consciousness goes to on another part of this galaxy. But that's my truth. I'm wishing you all a lovely, lovely day. So I am not anti anything at all. I would not go on to an anti any march. I have had different experiences through angels that have helped me. I have different experience with Jesus and God, which has helped me. But it comes to a point where I see, 50 people around a table, all with their own belief system, Muslim, Catholic, Judaism, all of them, and they're all telling me their religion all at the same time. This is the only religion. This is our religion. This is the only religion. And I listen to all of them. And if I say, I believe your religion, that means that I don't believe anybody else's religion. That does not make sense. And if your religion is right, that means that all yours is wrong. But every one of you believe in your religion so much. How can you all be wrong? You all believe in it so much. So my truth is that everybody believes in their religion, and good for you. But I'm going to go and find my belief system. And it ain't going to be a religion. It's going to be a way of life. It's going to be what helps me along my journey and my comfort. So I did that, and I became a healer for 20 years. And I speak to you now through the clients, the thousands of clients that I've understood, whether they were Muslim, whether they were priests, whether they were whatever religion. I've read for everybody and I've healed everybody of all walks of life, believers, non-believers, every religion you can think of. And I come to you and say, I've listened to all of these people. And I tell you, the answer, in my humble opinion, is to find the religion inside you, to find the church inside you, to find the God inside you, because you are connected to the oneness. So go inside. That's the only place you will find the happiness and joy and the truth and the answers to life. If you're looking externally for somebody telling you this is the way and that's the way, then turn into a greyhound like me and run as fast away as you can. The only person that can find your path is yourself, and it is not through teachings of any books or any Bibles. They are simply codes, they're simply messages of thousands of years, but things have happened that you have never read about because those books have been burned. And that's another story. I wish you well, everybody. Have a great day. I'm sure some of you are going to be pissed off with me now, and I'm sorry if you are, but I have no dislike for anybody at all. Whatever you believe in is beautiful. Good for you. If you're a good person, I don't care what you believe in. If you're a nasty piece of work using God or Jesus or Muhammad as I am this because I believe in that, no, you're a nasty piece of work if you're nasty to people. You cannot believe in God. You cannot believe in a hero or a savior if you're a nasty person. It doesn't work like that. Just be kind, just be good, and do no harm. Have a great day. Take care, everybody.